Welcome back to High Noon Live on LinkedIn. I'm Nikki Robotham in studio with Michelle Cavé, the MD of Brandfundi, a boutique brand communications agency, but really they do it all. And we were talking in the last segment around building a business under pressure. Now we're going to really step into that whole idea of when you've got a level of success and then the unknown hits, like COVID, a global pandemic, and what do we then do to really start to build back and build back better? I mean, Michelle, it was so fascinating at your 7th birthday celebration recently in August, where I got to witness firsthand the incredible relationships and, collaboration that you'd built with your clients. I mean, the stories they were all sharing were deeply personal, and there was very much that resonance. Take me through that, that drop-off that happened from a COVID perspective. I understand you lost almost like 80% of your business.
That's right.
Which is a story so many people resonate with.
Yeah.
How did you come back from that and build a business to where it is today, over 2 years later, stronger than ever?
Well, I think there's a number of factors. I joke about how a lot of people bragged about binge watching Netflix during COVID. I couldn't believe anyone had the time to do that because I was probably busier than ever, just trying to claw back as much as I could.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of effort into marketing the agency on social media, looking for value-adding opportunities like op-eds and thought leadership pieces. And also refining the systems and processes, looking at credentials, where could we improve? And then, of course, staying in touch with clients and making sure you're adding value over and above. So I used that opportunity to really be present and top of mind and to learn as much as I could to see that there was a strategy after, or recovery strategy from COVID. It wasn't just about being in the moment and sort of being the duck underwater, but also seeing where to from here,
Absolutely. And I think especially when it comes to communication around brands, I mean, Michelle, you used the analogy around, that duck on a pond where it's smooth on the surface and you're paddling madly underneath. But often that sense of frenziedness doesn't create that clarity around our strategies. And so for me, it's so important that you actually use that as almost a pause for potency.
Yes.
To come back better. And it's something I talk about a lot with my clients and in my work around making the most of those pauses, because COVID was the ultimate pause.
It really was.
For some people, not necessarily potency, but you've used it in that way to be able to build back better.
Right.
As a female entrepreneur, one of the things we often struggle with is imposter syndrome. It's something I talk about in my book, Embrace Your Elegant Power, around how we keep ourselves small, how we keep ourselves and often in shame because we think we're not good enough. It's one of those wounded states. And obviously I'm giving the most extreme version of that, but it's something a lot of women struggle with, where it's that sense of who am I to be that person out there doing this?
Yes.
What were some of your struggles, especially as you've been building this business and then coming back from COVID, that you've had around, maybe not feeling, quite like you were ready to stand on that stage and run this business?
It's a silly thing, but I didn't go to university. I went to Damlin instead, and so I did a 1-year course. I was very eager to get out into the marketplace and just start gaining the experience and learning from the experts and making money, of course. I was young. And so my imposter syndrome tends to kick in when I'm surrounded by people who have degrees in public relations and language and all of that. And so I think I've come to learn, though, that nothing beats experience. And I have worked on the most incredible brands in South Africa and multinationals too. And I've sat and had conversations with CEOs and some of the top media in the country. And over the years, the success of climbing the corporate ladder in those environments and then also seeing the results for my clients has provided that confidence booster. So I've come to accept it. I don't allow that voice to come through anymore. And having that resilience to bounce back from the likes of COVID, and then also having started the business as I did, it does give you a lot of strength and knowing within myself of what I'm capable of, and that is all I need.
And I think that's so important, because that school of experience is one of the most essential things. And on the other side, I've seen so many people, graduates with degrees, who can't get that experience. And it's amazing how we use that comparison to sort of say, actually, hang on, I don't have this.
Yes.
But meanwhile, again, to your point, it's about centering into your knowing that you've got the experience, that you can do this.
Yeah.
I've actually seen that that's often the most essential thing, when we can have our own back and trust that we can do it. The other concept I just wanted to talk to you, because again, it's something I see women struggling so much with, is the idea of perfectionism.
Yeah.
And in building businesses, I've often said that when we wait for perfectionism or perfection, we've waited too long. We missed the opportunities because we waited for 100% in that perfection and polishing.
Right.
What's your thoughts around perfectionism? Because I know it's something we all struggle with.
It's my middle name, for sure. I'm a Virgo on top of that.
Yeah.
So, and having gone to an all-girls school where A-type personalities were praised as much as they were, you had to be good at sport, you had to be good at academics and all of that. It's definitely a trap that I fall into on a regular basis. And so much so I think it affects my personal life that I struggle to find the right man because he's not perfect enough, right? But from a business perspective, I do agonize over the words that I put down on paper, and I don't just send emails. I rework them and I refine them as much as I can, and I've learned that can be very time consuming. But the business of PR really does require attention to detail and the A-type personalities and all of that. So I kind of feel like I've found my niche, that this is where I'm meant to be. I can hone that perfectionism into a channel that really does pay off.
Absolutely. And sometimes we have to find the balance where it's done is better than perfect. But again, in PR, the messaging is important. So, it's
as are deadlines, by the way. So yes, there's that fine balance all the time.
Absolutely. And so in the next segment, we're really going to delve a little bit more into some of Michelle's top tips around communication, the challenges of a family-run business, and really how we can find some more of that balance. Join us in the next segment.